Hi, everyone. Welcome to our very first Heads of X, Heads of Engineering conference. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Anna, and we are Epic Events, the organizer of today's event. Epic Events produces premier events at the nexus of technology, startups, and investors. Our mission at Epic Events is to ignite ideas and expose technologies that will underpin future society. Heads of X is our new global technology conference series, bringing top minds and highly sought after industry leaders across a wide array of subject matter expertise. We kicked off with our Heads of Product 2 weeks ago, and other events in our series include Heads of Design, Data Science, Digital Marketing, Sales, Operations, and People. Today is our Heads of Engineering, the most exciting engineering conference to bring together top engineering practitioners who will condense their most impactful insights into bite-sized keynote presentations and 2 panels. Our schedule is broken down into 3 segments at 9, 10:45, and 12:30 p.m., and an exclusive VIP networking session at 2:15 p.m. Let's welcome Julian Warszawski, who is VP of Engineering at Goldman Sachs. Welcome. And you can share whenever you're ready.
All right, let me know if you hear me.
Yep.
Perfect. Let me start sharing then. All right, do you see my screen?
Yep.
All right, thanks for the invite. Julian here, technology leadership at Goldman Sachs. Opinions my own. Catch me on LinkedIn after the conference. I always respond. My aesthetics are hideous. I hope I'll make it up for you with the content. We don't have much time, so let's move on. You heard a lot about how to do things today. So let's do something different. I'll try to tell you what not to do and how not to do things. In a way, I think it's always more empowering to talk about negative behavior than a positive one, is that when you are told what to do, the thing you learn becomes your only way. And where you're told what not to do, you still have plenty of options to apply your intuition or expertise. And I hope this slide visualizes that. So let's move on. I started cataloging behavioral patterns and their bad effects some time ago. I gave them names, definitions, some room of these slides. It's not related to any particular of my jobs, but rather a compilation of observations from 9 organizations I worked with and countless others I surveyed. So we'll focus on just one of those patterns because we don't have much time, but we can talk about others later. A few years ago, I had this epiphany. Few long nights of recovering from a defect in payments module. It happened because we were trying to deliver a feature on a very aggressive deadline. Burning midnight oil bypassed some standard controls, and we were very liberal about acceptance testing. What could go wrong? Everything, apparently. And after all that, we did not even get a tap on the shoulder, because not only have we put the system stability at risk, but other teams were angry because our actions delayed their features. And it's like everyone had to stop for us to move fast, like we were driving an ambulance, which I found out to be a great metaphor to talk to people, because everyone knows how it works. And I hope you do too. So let's check it. So the question is, ask yourself, what do you do when you see this in a rear view? Where I'm stationed in California, the directions are simple. You just move to the right and stop because we're coming through. Let's talk about traffic laws. They're there for a reason. If followed, they guarantee safety for participants and maximize the throughput. Actors trying to break the rules are punished, but not all. There are certain situations that particularly when the human health or life is at stake, where it's okay to break the rules. So enter an ambulance. And if we try to generalize here, consider following traffic laws as a process. And an ambulance becomes an exception to this process. This seems a little bit like a contradiction because it should be a part of the process too. Now, what sort of process requires an exception? If a process is properly designed, it should guarantee efficiency and safety of outcomes to all of its participants. If we have a materialized exception, it causes the entire process to be less efficient or to slow down. Or in case the ambulance we drive, we cause the traffic to move to the right and stop. What needs to happen to justify such an exception? What sort of like value added needs to be materialized in order for us to make such exceptions in our context? Or we can ask the other question. What can you say about the quality of a process if it experiences frequent exceptions? So I went there and did a little survey. Turns out this pattern is more common than I thought, multiple unrelated industries, and furthermore, which is astonishing, in most cases, it's considered positive. And it is, right? From behind the wheel of an ambulance driver. What did I have to say? Exhibit number 1, tools factory, assembly line process, turn raw materials into products. Some orders had to be expedited because they were more urgent, which means all other production is put on hold until expedited production is done. That causes other orders to be lagging. Soon enough, they have to be expedited too. This reduces the throughput of an entire assembly line by as much as 50%. I read about this first in the The Goal book, but then I heard about it from multiple people that it's actually a case in real life. Example number 2, totally different industries, hiring, recruitment process designed to guarantee fairness, diversity, high quality of candidates, but some projects need to be staffed immediately, so we cannot wait for candidates to go through this pipeline. So we make exception, skip a coding interview, a mission alignment session. We bypass reference verification. What it leads to is the exceptional project stealing candidates from other projects. Team staffed through exceptions are less diverse, less culturally aligned with the mission, and the rate of attrition on those products is higher. And the third example from the technology domain, organization established standards and tools to introduce new software services, recommending programming languages, libraries, builds, testing techniques, and so on. But there are projects that are so exceptional that they cannot follow these practices, and they introduce custom tools, unapproved languages, and libraries, and they have to be serviced by engineers who are borrowed from development productivity team that leaves them with less time to work on strategic improvements that apply to all teams, not the one. So everyone suffers. Let's ask ourselves, what happens if there are too many exceptions to the process? And the answer is that the exceptions become the process, leading to a total collapse of all the constraints that there are. Everything becomes ad hoc. So whenever you're in front of such a situation, you have two choices. Either improve the process or bypass it. Obviously, we know what the right answer is. I'm not going to ask you this, but you know, what is known versus what is practiced, two different things. You improve the process, the entire system benefits. Other teams are grateful. You bypass it, create an exception, everyone suffers, teams are harmed. But I'm not in charge, you say. No one's ever in charge, in fact. So what do? Well, first you need to make sure that you identify the point of view that is outside of an ambulance, not from the driver's seat. All those poor souls that move to the right and stop, you need to get in touch with them, survey, form a working group, brainstorm on a solution, quantify the problem, lost time, lost dollars, reduced throughput. Then you identify the big decision maker, the big person, like a CTO or at least VP in a tech company. Don't go to a VP in a bank. It's just a fancy name, not much power. I'm a VP in a bank. go to managing director. Never talk about the problem without a solution. Remember about it. And then use this ambulance metaphor, because metaphors are very powerful. They allow people to view a situation, to converge and understand an abstract idea in context of something that is tangible and familiar, which is very often a key that is missing to convincing some decision makers. And then you deal with this person who says, but my project is very special and it's very hard to deal with such an argument. So let's get some help from Barney the dinosaur, who says that everyone is special. And then we let Syndrome from The Incredibles drive the argument home by saying, well, everyone is special, so no one is. You can figure out the logical implication yourself. So a few books that approach this subject from one angle or the other. Please read them all. Very important books. And the word for the day is don't drive ambulances. I hope you enjoyed this session. I will accept any questions now. And then regardless, thanks for participation and have an awesome VIP session. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had to laugh at the Barney slide. All right, does anyone have questions? If so, please write them into the chat or the Q&A. You may have to tell us a story.
All right, let me know if there are any other patterns you want to chat about in the next session. There's a whole list in the slides. So thank you very much. Remember, don't drive ambulances.
All right, thank you so much, Julian. If there are any questions, they will pop up in the chat and it would be great if you could answer them. Thank you so much.
All right, take care.
All right. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you didn't sign up for our VIP session, this marks the end of your 2020 Heads of Engineering Conference. Stay engaged in our community by joining our Facebook, LinkedIn, Slack groups, and please sign up for our newsletter on www.daringlyepic.com. In our email that we sent out early today with all the event links, we also included a survey. Please fill it out. We would greatly appreciate your feedback. You know, if there was something that you wanted to see and we didn't do it, you know, please let me know. And I hope the rest of your Thursday is productive. Thanks again, and see you at our future events.